Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, tonight's stream is going to be very simple, very short. In fact, I just want to show you guys how media drives FUD. And I don't think this is a coincidence. I don't think this is by accident. I think this is all planned according to what I've been saying for the past few days. So tonight I want to show you a clip from Cnbc'S FUD Master, aka Chart Master. I want to show you what he said today, and I want to show you what he said about 6 months ago. And had you listened to him 6 months ago, and I believe if you happen to listen to him now, you're going to be losing out. You're going to losing out big time. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, 2 streams every day. Click that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, guys, let's do this. Welcome. Today is Friday night. People are feeling antsy. People are feeling the FUD. I've been trying to get you guys motivated and ignore the FUD, and I do think I have something that can help you guys. That can help you guys see that, yeah, you know, sometimes you don't want to pay attention to what other people say. You just don't know the true agenda behind what they're saying. You don't know whether or not they're telling you the truth. But let's do this. Let's do this. So starting with Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually bounced off this 34.8, a previous resistance. Actually, I should say previous resistance turned support. We did bounce off there. Bitcoin came back up. Now it's around 36.2, right? But everyone is still wondering whether or not this weekend, being a long weekend heading into Memorial Day, whether or not we're going to see more volatility, right? Whether we're going to see more downside, going down as low as 30,000. But now people are really trying to pack on the FUD and say that, no, 30,000 is only the beginning. We're going to fall straight back down to 20,000. 20,000. First of all, I got to say that if that happened, really, I would pretty much be going all in at this point. I've seen some of these low points over the years when Bitcoin first hit 31,000. No, 3,100. Okay. Back in 2018. I've seen that bottom at 3,800 back last year in 2020. And if we do have some kind of catastrophe drop, let's say back down to 20,000, that is one of those times. I don't believe that it's going to happen, but I do believe a lot of people are driving this narrative that Bitcoin will fall much lower. And because the bull run is over, because the top is in, and a lot of media FUD is driving that narrative, causing you to have doubts, causing you to have fear, right? So let's get to it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Show you what I'm talking about. And this is just from one guy. I call him the FUD Master. And there's a lot more guys that are screaming the same thing. They're screaming the same thing. So I don't like it, but let me show you what I'm talking about. And then let me show you a clip from the same FUD Master 6 months ago. All right, let me set this up here. All right, FUD Master 6 months ago. All right, let me set this up here. All right, let's do this.
On those barbecues, crypto traders may have something else on their minds. The major coins getting slammed heading into the holiday weekend. And given how Bitcoin is traded when the stock markets are closed, how should holders brace for more pain? Let's get some answers from Chartmaster Carter Worth of Cornerstone.
Hey, I just want to make a quick note that she said holdlers. She didn't say hodlers. Everyone gets on my case saying holdlers because it should be holders. She said it.
Macro. Carter, what are you seeing?
Well, my goodness, there's a lot going on, and obviously the stakes are high because as opposed to a year ago or 3 or 5, the money involved is much bigger. The risk here is that we are forming an important head and shoulders reversal formation. You can be called anything you want. We're going to look at the charts together and try to figure it out. So the first of a handful. What we know is what? We're talking about an important drop. We hit the highs on the mid-April point, April 14th, right? It was 64,870 or thereabouts. and we plunged 53% right to a trend line and hit the 30,000 level and bounced. But the bounce, as is often the case once you draw down that much, only made it back to where interested sellers were lying in wait, meaning after having lost money and then being able to recoup it, often people sell into that move. And you can see that on that first chart. Now the second chart is the exact same chart, but I've drawn the lines a bit differently, which is to say, this is prospectively the shoulder of an important head and shoulders top. And so the mirror image left shoulder is that drawdown in the January period of this year where we dropped 35% before going on to the big.
Real quick. First of all, if you were going to call this a head and shoulders, right? And why would you not assume that it hits the previous low at 30,000 here, right? And that would be the formation. Because if you're drawing like this and you're just pointing downwards, then you're claiming that if this formation comes true, that Bitcoin's going to drop to like 8,000 or something way worse than what this line is showing, right? So even me not being a technical guy, I have a problem with this, but it gets worse. It gets worse, I promise you.
New highs, but here we are, and it's very symmetrical and starting to shape up that way. If and as, indeed, this is the formation and the way forward is lower, how much lower might we be going? Well, next chart. One reference point to consider is, of course, the high that we saw, the all-time high, in December of 2017. And you can see that line I've drawn along there. Often after breaking out from an important level, you'll revisit that level. It's a phenomenon that happens a lot in individual charts, in currencies, commodities, and there's no reason it can't happen in Bitcoin. And so that level is 20,000, plus or minus. So the question is, could we possibly, having dropped already 53%, could we go down that far, which we'd be looking at a 70+% decline for peak to trough? Well, take a look at the last two charts. We know that Bitcoin has had...
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. He was trying to make a whole lot of sense, right? Is it possible to go down 70%? Now he's trying to rationalize it, yes, because he's looking at the major declines from bear markets after the 4-year cycle. So basically he's looking at 93%, 86%, 84%, basically after Bitcoin popped. So he's basically claiming that this is the end, that 64,000 for Bitcoin is the top, which is why it's possible to go down peak to trough for 70-something%, which I think you guys know. That is just not true. Not true. Every single one of these ended at a tremendous pump upwards towards the end of the year. And you see, like over here, when Bitcoin went from 6,000 to 20,000 before it came down. Right now, we're not seeing that. We're going sideways. We're seeing a small correction, yet he wants to correlate that this is the top. And now we can't expect a 70+% drop because it's very similar to the previous drops that we had from top, right? It's just, he's not talking about the 4-year cycle. He's not bringing that up. There's a halving event that happens 4 years, which is why there's a Bitcoin 4-year cycle. He's not mentioning any of that. Okay, but I'm gonna let him finish.
Three similar drawdowns that have actually been even more severe. In 2011, we had a 93% decline. Now, it was new then, and of course, maybe a different animal now, but yet in 2014-15, we had an 86% decline. And then in 2018-19, we had an 84% decline. 93%, 86%, 84%, meaning it's not out of the question. So final chart, putting those all together, you see those three similar drawdowns, if and as this one continues, sort of 80 to 90%. And were we simply to pivot back to the highs from which we broke out, that would be the December 2017 highs, we would drop as far as 20,000.
Wow, 20,000. Carter, wow. Thank you.
Here's the thing. Here's the significance of 20,000. Because I remember this. I covered this story before. I covered this story with FUD Master 6 months ago in November. In fact, I created a video, and I remember specifically because 20,000 is a magical mark for FUD Master. He seems to really like to talk about it. So if you were not in Bitcoin, if you have not been following me, if you have not been following anything, and you listen to him and you hear this and you know nothing about the 4-year cycle, you know nothing about institutions coming in, you know nothing about the fundamentals of why people are buying it, holding it, and so forth, right? And adoption's growing. Say you know none of that and you just listen to this, okay, I'll say he makes sense, right? If you know none of that and you're just going by what he said, you're thinking, maybe that is correct, right? And it is driving uncertainty and doubt, even though people are thinking, this is actually a pretty good buying opportunity. This could be a good buying opportunity when things are low. But then you listen to FUD Master, then you're going to have doubt in your mind, right? So let's go back. Let's go back to 6 months ago. Then this is the video, the very same video I covered 6 months ago. Let's listen to what FUD Master had to say then. And look at this. This was when Bitcoin was below 20,000 and coming towards 20,000.
Bitcoin on an absolute tear, crossing the $18,000 mark overnight for the first time since December 2017. The chart master called the huge breakout all the way back in June, but now he is saying it could be time to cut back on the crypto. Cornerstone Macros Carter Worth joins us with the charts. Hey, Carter, take it away.
Well, I think that's the right word, a tear. And so the question is, do you reduce or trim into this move? And I think the answer is yes. Let's look at a few charts. The first of three. This is Bitcoin as of July. And what we have here, of course, is the cryptos right up against the downtrend line, in effect, since the all-time high in December of 2018. Now, if you look at the next chart, we have this very clear breakout. And that's sort of the move that is interesting. It's a double. Essentially, we were stuck at 9,000. Here we are at 18,000. But you can also see the level we're approaching, which is the former high. Third chart, final chart, and let's talk about it a little bit. In principle, a stock, a currency, commodity, anything that gets back to a former high will often contend with it before exceeding it. And while we're not quite at that high was 19,500, and where today's high was 18,500, we're within 5–6%. So the thinking is here to start to reduce, and if and as we were to get as high as the former high, to start to reduce even more. It's very unusual to break out before backing and filling or backing away from a prior well-defined spike high, such as we saw in December of 2017, exactly 3 years ago.
Wow.
It's very, very, very unusual to break out from previous high. And I don't think I need to tell you guys what happened after that. Bitcoin did break out and it went on one of the most tremendous runs we have seen, from 20,000 all the way up to 64,000 with very, very, very little resistance. So this is the thing. Is his analysis just completely off and just 100% wrong, and he does not belong on CNBC, or is this media-driven FUD? Is he told to basically come out with a piece like this and basically drive FUD to the people that are watching? Right? Because like I said, if you knew nothing about Bitcoin, you knew nothing about the 4-year cycle, you knew nothing about institutions and banks and BlackRock and everyone else that's jumping in, you listen to this and like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, until you realize he really doesn't, especially when you look at what he has said before, which is basically to tell people to start trimming as Bitcoin gets to 20,000 and really trim even more when it hits 20,000. And you would have lost out on the greatest gains probably within the last decade in terms of the amount of gains Bitcoin, 300 plus percent. Not only that, altcoins went up thousands to tens of thousands of percent, right? So this is part of the reason why I don't trust TA sometimes. It works until it doesn't. Sometimes It's accurate. Sometimes it's blatantly wrong, right? And we know the market for Bitcoin is very volatile. It could go up and down. It could reverse at any time. You know, with one tweet, sometimes it seems like the market can move, right? But, you know, one has to wonder, is this media-driven FUD? Is this driven by some of these big players that really want to get in, that really wants to buy some cheap Bitcoin, right? And yeah, and I guess my ultimate message here is don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. If you're in Bitcoin, right? Especially now, you know, we're having this correction, and it's testing a lot of people's emotions. It's testing a lot of people's diamond hands, which I think some people felt like they had diamond hands until recently, and those diamond hands became paper hands. But, you know, this is one of those times where it'll test you. It'll test you. But I've been telling you guys, we have seen similar events happen during bull runs in 2017 and even 2013. But right now, right, we're experiencing it again. A lot of people haven't experienced it. But those of us that have, you know, even though we've seen it, I know there's this like lingering doubt in the back of a lot of people's minds of whether or not this is similar to 2017, 2018, right? But yeah, me, I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. I fell for it too many times. Quite honestly, I fell for it too many times in the past where, yeah, media FUD in general, people really got in my mind and caused me to have a lot of doubt. No longer the case. No longer the case. Even though I have done very well for myself, I could have done much, much, much better had I ignored a FUD since 2013 when I first got into crypto. Had I ignored that FUD, you know, I'll be on a yacht right now. I'll be on a yacht, you know, shipping around the world. So I've lived through a lot of this. I've seen a lot of this, right? And I'm not falling for it. This bull run is not over. There's a lot of people that is driving FUD, trying to get you to sell, trying to tell you that Bitcoin will go down to 20,000 or this is the top or this and that, right? But the name of the game is focus on a long-term gains, right? Focus this as a long-term play, as an investment, and don't fall for whatever anyone's telling you, because what is ended up going to happen is you go panic sell. You go cause yourself to sell, and then you go lose out, and you go regret it even more. All right, guys, that's pretty much what I want to show you. There's not that much else I want to talk about, so I'll just bring it. I'll bring it back to you guys for some Q&A. Hopefully. You know, another thing I want to mention is, so despite the fact today, Bitcoin started going down a little bit, you know, Bitcoin dominance didn't really. So that's one very positive thing. So you could see that the overall global market cap is down about 5.36% versus this time yesterday. Bitcoin's down about the same, about 5. So you could see that the Bitcoin dominance didn't actually increase. So that's actually positive. Kind of shows you that, yes, everything is going down, but unlike the previous times where Bitcoin fell down to 30 or 32, where Bitcoin dominance started to rise up significantly because retail investors really panicked and started selling off their altcoins, this time around, it's about the same. So this is a little bit better. Retail investors, I think, are starting to get used to some of these dips, which is really good because you don't want to have everyone cause an avalanche and have a panic sell avalanche, I guess, once again. So right now it's looking a little bit better. Obviously we're doing a little better, right? But going into this weekend, I know a lot of people are like wondering what's going on. Low volume, Memorial Weekend, are we going to see more volatility, right? Maybe, maybe not. We just come off from some pretty serious, right? Pretty serious dips. So can it continue? You know what? Right now my money is on we're probably just gonna go sideways. We're probably gonna see non-movement this week. Who knows? I'm wrong. I always say this, 60% of the time, I'm right every time, all right? So take that into account. But, all right, let me scroll up a little bit. But whenever things are down 60, 70, 80%, I don't think anything's down 80%. I take that back. But when things are down 40, 50, 60%, especially with altcoins, and Bitcoin being down like 50%, you know what? That screams bargain to me. That screams like it's a good buying opportunity. What did I miss here? OG Tune, CNBC FUD Master. I like that name. I like that name a lot. BT Bovina. You've been keeping it strong since I put all in balance as advised. Bless you. Thank you. I'm glad it's working. What else is there? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jenna says panic sell and you lose. I mean, that's really it. If nothing else, if you want to do any kind of panicking, you panic buy and not panic sell. Franco asks, hey George, will there be any elite celebrities, heavyweights of the crypto scene? Were you able to reach certain labs? No, I can't find those actresses. Everyone, people have sent me who they think they are, but they're not. But it's the speakers and stuff I have not focused on right now. It's the sponsors, the ones that'll be having breakout sessions and stuff like that, and then I'm gonna focus on the speakers. Hopefully I can get some. Hopefully I can get some big heavyweights like you just indicated. What is the chance that Harmony catches up to Matic? I like Harmony a lot. I think it can do very well. Polygon is just on an absolute tear, no doubt. Can it do something? Anything can happen in crypto. Anything can happen, but can it go up tremendously like that? Maybe. But I do think that they're building a lot of traction. So even if they don't, they could do very well. What did I ask? Zilliqa. Zilliqa is also good. Promising. They're not as fast as some of these other chains, but they're still building. They're just like some of these other chains. They're getting DeFi involved. They're getting NFTs involved, right? And you have like a project like Unstoppable Domains that came out of Zilliqa, which is doing fantastic. So I think Zilliqa is still doing good. What do you think about play to earn games like Axis Infinity and Lost Relics? I mean, as long as they get people to stay involved, get involved, and keep playing, and there's obviously gamification plus like NFTs and combined, right? That's the ultimate thing. Can you keep someone on the platform? And if those games can do it, then it's great. Because right now, I think really, if you look at everything besides DeFi, I think DeFi is definitely here to stay. It's evolving, but the next, I guess, the next category of dApps that's really doing really well is games. Anchor, a lot of people ask me about Anchor. It's kind of like a boring play to me. I say neutral because what you're doing is paying for node deployments. So if you don't want to run your own node, you rent it from Anchor. That's what they do. So it's not very sexy. They allow you to do it. They also have this unique thing where you could liquid stake ETH2 so that they give you some equivalency of like a synthetic token that you could do something with. But outside of that, I mean, that's basically what they do. So can they do better? Sure. But they're not very, I guess, sexy compared to some of these other projects. Can we have a look around your room on crypto-related merchandise? Want that holo poster? Thanks for coming out with the video. Yeah, I try to do my best. But sometimes, the negativity, the FUD is strong, man. It really weighs down on my well-being and my soul. It goes down deep into my soul. I'm just kidding. But you know what? I'm here to motivate you guys. That's why I continue and press forward. Looking for a 3-4 year hold from Ismail. Have 40K and standby. What are your thoughts on XRP or BTC? BTC, no doubt. You don't even have to ask. If you want to hold long term, 3, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, you hold Bitcoin. That's the one true crypto that I don't think will ever go away. And it'll never age because it's becoming a store of value. As a medium exchange, as a day-to-day currency, it's probably not gonna fill that role. But as a store of value, it's here to stay. So XRP, I would say to hold some in your big cap portfolio is good idea, but to go heavy in it, I think I would take other ones. What do you think about TRB? Follows ETH. It's try the Oracle for ETH. Ryan, I don't like any oracles besides Chainlink. I think Chainlink is the only oracle I truly trust. There's been too many oracles in the past that just have not done anything, and they're just not as reliable. Cool Dip. That's a cool name. Enjoyed all 3 shows today. Long day. What are your thoughts on staking cake? If you're holding Pancake, why not? You're gonna get a huge amount of yield, right? But the thing is, there's always a risk. I've mentioned that with AMMs, especially recently. We have seen some hacks before. You got to be careful with these AMMs. They provide, obviously, they have a large number of volume. They have a large number of liquidity locked in. But still, these are relatively new projects. So just be careful with who you're staking with. Sebastian, don't let these fudders get to you. Try not to. Appreciate the support. Were you drunk last night? No. I don't know why people kept saying that. I was drinking 1 White Claw. Yesterday's video, kind of disappointed me. Because, I went on, I was introduced to Jason not too long ago. Jason Pizzino. And, he's like a TA guy, but, I went on his show. It was like yin and yang, me fundamental, him TA. And I think we had a good time on his channel, right? So I brought him on because he's been asking me, like, can we collaborate? I'm like, sure, come on, right? Last night was supposed to just be, a casual chat between 2 guys, right? Not so much like a strict interview and stuff like that, but people were like, I was being more casual, being more loose, trying to be more buddy, and then people took that somehow as me being drunk, and people were complaining, oh, your interviews suck, your interview skills suck, you're not letting the guy talk, and this and that, and why are you not letting him do his thing? It's the first time I actually had a live stream with someone on, and it was just meant to be casually back and forth, right? And I don't know, some people enjoyed it, but some people just really went off on it. It's kind of disappointing. But I do want to do more like that. I just want to bring other guys that I like and cool guys on the channel just to have chats. It doesn't even have to be about anything. Last night's was unscripted. I just pulled up those articles 10 minutes before the stream, and I did not tell them about it. I'm like, hey, let's just talk about these things, right? So again, people were expecting something different, like some kind of official interview. I'm like, it's not. That's not what it was about. Do you have a wallet recommendation? Hardware wallets, Ledger, Trezor, mobile wallets like the Trust Wallet, Coinbase Wallet. I think they're all non-custodial wallets that you could trust. But the main thing with all these wallets is your seed phrase, your recovery phrase. That is what's the most important. That is, you have to safeguard that. You have to put it into somewhere really, really, really safe, because if your phone gets lost, stolen, your ledger gets broken, you need to recover. You need to have that seed phrase. Did you see that Sheets? Sheets is the first convenience store to accept crypto thanks to Flexa. I did not. But Flexa, a lot of people are Flexa fans. As long as people get back to retailers, they're out and about spending money. You know what? Flexa is in a really good position, and if they are, then AMP is too. Chelsea says, I really enjoyed listening to your video yesterday. Really thought-provoking. Hope you do more. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. There's too many people that just nonstop chatter about how it sucked. And I'm like, dude, where's this hate coming from? If the bull run continues, do you see more altcoins in the top 20 going up 100x? Ones that went up 100x in the tail end of 2017, they were like small caps that did 100x to become big caps. So for big cap to go up 100x, probably not at this point because they have gone up quite tremendously already. But can big caps still do, let's say, a 10 to 20x? I think so. But for a big cap like Ethereum to do 100x, I don't think that's realistic. Even though we have this FUD, do you think ADA will see $3 to $10? Yeah, why not? Why not? I don't think this bull run is anywhere close to being complete, and we have a lot more room to grow. So all these will continue to go up. Bruce, thank you, appreciate it. Fake Savian. He talks about 80% drop. How much does BTC rise each cycle? If you look at it goes up quite tremendously. You're talking about the FUD Master, right? Yeah, of course. Bitcoin traditionally has this like 3-year down cycle where it's like, it drops to 86%. But then it has 1 year tremendous cycle, 1 year of the 4-year cycle that's tremendous. That just regains all of that, goes a lot more, right? This year, we could see exactly the same thing and even more. I called it a super cycle, right? So we could definitely see it because, these big guys that's jumping in, I think they're going to be in it for a long time. They're going to be holding. And I have a hard time believing that all these big institutions and public trade companies and all these guys will just immediately dump after the end of this year. I just don't see that. So can we see a top and blow off on the top? Yeah. Can we see a 50% drop? Yeah, we just saw it, right? But will we see an 86% drop and altcoins drop 99% like before? I don't know. I have a hard time seeing that. Gas Tech Garage. I've always had a problem with staking. It's like digital mining in 2017. Once you lock in your crypto, they could change the rate or negotiate paid out and you're effed. Are you wrong? It depends. There's different kind of staking. There's projects where you just deposit, for example, BlockFi, and you're just depositing. Obviously they're giving you interest for depositing, and on the flip side, they're lending out to institutions. So you have that, and then you have like staking into like chains. Like you could stake ADA into a node, and you're powered the chain. You can also do that with several other projects. That's a different kind of staking, and a lot of times you could take that out right away, right? You control that. You could run a node right on your computer and stake and take that out, right? And then there's also different kind of staking, like you put it in a yield farm or something like that. You could do it like that too. So there's different kind of staking. It really depends. Really depends on which ones you're talking about. But traditionally, they, if you're going to something, can they change the terms? Yeah, I guess they could do that. They could do that. Flexa must be a paid sponsor, not even close to PunDX with real world products. No, and you're just embarrassing yourself by saying that. See, I hate people that do this. They try to bash another project to try to make their own project look good. It's obvious that you're a bag holder and you look desperate. You look desperate when you do that. People that are holding on good projects or good projects themselves, don't try to make themselves look better by bashing others. That just shows insecurity. And what you just showed, Cameron, is a lot of insecurity. So do yourself a favor and don't do that anymore. Don't do that anymore because it's just embarrassing. Matt says, please continue to, I think you mean bring guests on. It's great to get exposure to other people in the space and different views. We're all in it together. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it too. Here's another thing. Obviously my channel is doing very well right now. My growth is tremendous. I'm like probably top 3 in terms of growth right now in crypto channels. But it wasn't always like that. I struggled for a very, very, very long time. Very long time indeed. Okay. And my channel even got banned 3-4 months. Right. So, so I know what it's like to struggle on YouTube. And obviously earlier this year, I uncovered F2 Pool. I got a lot of attention. BitBoy also helped me a lot by talking about me and my discovery, brought me on his channel. So all that combined and just me working very hard at a channel, so that's why I'm doing very well. So I would love to give it back. That's why if there's other guests, I've done a lot of interviews with smaller channels for that reason, right? So it's kind of my way to pay it back. As long as they're good guys, right? They're helping the community. You know, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Exile, we're all George. Have you read newest white paper from Hempcoin? I thought they're completely dead. I recommended so many cannabis coins back in 2017 because I thought it would take off. It makes sense. Cannabis industry needs crypto, and there was like a few projects like Potcoin, Hempcoin, and others, but they all really just died. Yeah, so I've not read Hempcoin latest white paper. I don't really care because I don't think they're gonna do it. They had all the opportunities, but they didn't do it. Cameron, okay, I appreciate you being objective. I mean, it sounded like that was a bash. That did really sound like a bash. And no, I'm not sponsored by Flexa. What's a good re-entry point for Matic? Well, not too long ago, Matic was at 70 cents. That would have been a great re-entry, right? It has come up so much, so fast, so it's really hard to say, right? When it was $1.30, you know, myself, I put a little bit more into it, so now I'm up, right? Can it go down more? Yes. Can it continue back up? Yes, right? It's really hard to say. It's just like I've been saying, you don't know top or bottom. But when things are down 50, 60% from tops, right? It's a good buy opportunity. So sprout your buys, buy a little, buy a little, buy a little like that, right? But just, I know a lot of people always say, oh, I run out of money. That means you're too aggressive with your dollar cost averaging. Wait a little bit. If you buy something and it goes down 5%, 10%, doesn't mean that you have to do it again. Wait to see if there's a bigger drop coming. Wait until like 20, 25% before you buy the dip again, right? So make sure that you sprout your buy and not be so aggressive. Will VeChain be taken away by China when they open up? I don't know what taken away means. Taking away means. I mean, will they benefit from it? I do think so, quite tremendously. I think out of all the projects that will benefit, VeChain will be the biggest one. And then also something like Neo, which has been doing very well too. I think they will benefit as well. But China definitely nurtures their own projects. That's why they have basically a Google copy. They have a Microsoft copy. They have a Facebook copy. They have a Twitter copy. They nurture their own. And when it comes to blockchain companies, VeChain is the biggest. Frazzle asks, I know they're all different, but if you had to cut two, which ones would you choose? WAN, BAT, Synthetics, Chili's, Cake, Tezos. That's too hard, man. That's too hard. That's like asking, out of your 6 children, which ones would you cut from your family? I mean, it's kind of tough. I would say out of that, Synthetic and probably Tezos. So, doesn't mean that they're bad, but if I had to, I would cut those two out. FUD Master flex tonight. Decon, Nick, thank you. When I look on the project, the previous team had abandoned it since 2019. Hemcoin has secured use case for global architectural market. So a new team took it. Bought the project or continued on. Well, they're still at 3 million. Yeah, I remember this. Back in the day. Oof. They were very, very, very hot. I still don't understand why the cannabis industry does not adopt crypto. As far as I know, they still can't have bank accounts. Everything is done in cash. I've been told these dispensaries, what they do is like bury cash out in the desert and stuff because they can't put it into a bank account. I don't know why they don't go into crypto. It just seems like it's so much easier, right? It doesn't have to be its own crypto like Hempcoin. It could just be Bitcoin or something. It still boggles my mind. Thoughts on Wax, Vault Finance. I've saw it before. It's just too new. It's just not something that I think it needs to have more traction first. People should do more research on who created Flexa. You say that as in a good thing or a bad thing. I know they have very tight relationship with Gemini. That's why they're one of the exchanges that listed them. They have some good backers. Burgermeister, I was in at Matic for 109. Panic sold at 190, made 500, had 800. Okay, I have a feeling of regret. Okay, what's done is done. You made money. You know, no one ever gets hurt by taking profit, sort of, right? You lock in. Yes, you may have missed potential gains, but whatever. You have locked in profits, right? Now you have that money to buy the dips, right? So you can't see that as a bad thing. Mathis, thank you. Florida State Chris, I think it's time to panic and pull all my money out. I don't think it's a good time to get into crypto at this point. Okay, well, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. If things go down, then you're in a pretty good spot to buy in. But if not, well, you know, I wish you the best of luck. I wish you the best of luck. I know sometimes it seems like it's tough. And right now is one of those times it may seem like things will never recover. But you know what? They always do. They always do. And they end up going stronger. And you know, I've lived through some of these times. So, talking about okay, Brian, what do you think about Civic? It's like an ID services play, just never really caught on, and I don't see any ID services really catching on. There's a lot of them out there. Now, the new trend for ID services is like for credit. It's like for DeFi, which is different. So rather than have your personal information and stuff like that, or your social security to be used in real world. Used in real world. Now they have like ID services that's meant for DeFi so that you can borrow with less collateral and stuff. It's like building a credit. That is interesting, but still very, very new. Very, very new. ICP, the little that I know about ICP just seems like, yeah, I'm staying away. Seems like there's very questionable things, some centralized aspects to it that I can't get my head wrapped around. So that's why I have not really discussed ICP. It is a very, 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 very complicated project. It's very complicated. There's a lot of moving pieces. They're trying to come out not just like a chain. They're trying to replace the entire freaking internet. But they have a very unique way of doing so. And most of their nodes is powered by centralized servers. So it's really, they're kind of weird. They're kind of weird. But anyways. All right. Last few questions. Do you like injective? Kind of like a DEX derivative. You know, DEX for derivatives, right? So you're saying all these weed stores need a point of sale? They do. Hey, don't get me wrong. I like Pundi. I thought they were doing very well. Very, very well. Until the redenomination. And that just kind of killed all their momentum. I don't know what happened, if there was delay or something. And their mainnet was supposed to come out. It just seemed like they lost all momentum afterwards. VeChain, Telcoin. I say both. I'm starting to warm up to Telcoin. I think they could continue to do very well, especially getting that bank charter. And Cartesi, okay, like a layer 2 for DeFi. So I think they'll go okay, but yeah. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll let you guys go. Hopefully I'm doing my part to kind of show you guys that, yeah, there's a lot of media driving FUD, especially FUD Master from CNBC. You could say that he's just bad at TA. Maybe it's just bad luck, or there's an agenda behind it, because now he's really telling people to be careful that Bitcoin's going to go down to 20,000. Well, 6 months ago, he was telling people to sell before Bitcoin hit 20,000, right? And look at what happened since then, right? So it makes you wonder, is this all related? Is all this driven by the people that really want to pick up, right? So bottom line is, don't fall for it, guys. Don't fall for it. Bitcoin will do its thing. It will survive. It will continue on. Right now, I know it seems like it's scary, but it will pass. And what you got to do is just take advantage. Take advantage when you can. Take advantage of these awesome, fantastic, bargain, discounted altcoins, including Bitcoin. And you simply dollar cost average and you hold it. That's the name of the game. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time.